Hello there everyone! Today we're gonna tie this. This is a small yellow salmon fly and I've dubbed this yellow and dangerous. I'm pretty sure that this pattern probably has been invented many times, but the reason why I want to do this is because I always have something small and yellow in my box when going salmon fishing, and also I've tied this on Y.A.D TTT tubes, which is a tungsten tube that is absolutely perfect for tying smaller flies. So I wanted to show you the application of these, and this was a great way to do it because it makes your fly swim really great, and it makes your fly fish the second it hits the water. So here comes the fly tying video about how to tie the yellow and dangerous. So there it is, the small yellow and dangerous. The first thing we need is a small piece of the fitch tubing here from Y.A.D. And I'm just gonna melt down a small column like this. And the reason why I do this in the beginning is because then it's easier to fit the TTT tube onto your vise. So basically, I take the TTT tube and put it on the inner tube, the fitch tube, and then it makes it. The tube it wasn't settled, so it was a bit. Just gonna do this again. Just melting it down a little, blowing on it to make sure that it's hardened. That was the thing that happened there. It wasn't hardened, and then I can basically just do this again, because we need to push this very far back onto the needle here to make sure that it expands to keep the TTT tube in place. And that's also why it's easier to do it like this with the inner tube in the beginning, because then you have everything there that you need, and you have the disc of the TTT tube to help push the tubing all the way back so it stays in place. Then I apply some tying thread. And here, because of the way that this is built, you only have this space here to tie the fly. So in the small size you don't have that much room, so you need to be a little careful and take a little care to exactly how many turns of the tying thread and stuff you're applying to your fly, because otherwise you will not be able to fit all that you want and you need onto this small TTT. So I take a bundle of Arctic Fox in yellow. Nice color. One of my favorite colors for salmon is yellow. Used it in the Golden Killer, used it in so many of the best salmon flies are actually gold, and not gold, I mean yellow, and this is no exception. So I have a wing about the size and length that I need. And of course you can vary how big you want this, and you can of course also easily tie this fly in a big size. I'm only going to use about 3 turns of the tying thread here to fasten this, and as you can see, the TTT tube really makes the wing stand out and be forced up into the current, and this will make the fly swim a lot better. For this part you need a very sharp, very pointy scissor, because it's absolutely crucial that you cut the hairs off completely and very close to where you tied them in, because as I said before, you don't have that much room on the smallest size of this TTT tube. So, just pulling those off. Now we have the wing. Now what we need is to tie in a small bundle of angel hair, and again with the angel hair, the flesh stash pot is without a doubt one of the coolest things ever for angel hair and stuff like that, because it's so easy to basically just pull out the fibers that you want, and as you can see, all the colors here are completely there's room for 20 different flesh in one of these stash pots, and it's just the best and easiest way to keep track of all your flesh, especially something as I wouldn't say maybe whimsical, I don't know if that's the correct word, but at least as light and soft as angel hair. This really works well for stuff like that. So basically around 5 or 6 or 7 strands, depending on how much bling you want in your fly. Then I'm cutting away the leftover materials. Some of these are a bit long, and try to distribute it so it's not, you know, just one bundle in the middle, but there is some strands of flesh all the way distributed along the shoulders of the fly as well. And basically now we need to tie the hackle. And for this I'm going to use a hen. And you can use a hen cape or a hen saddle. Normally a hen cape has a larger number of very small feathers. So if you tie a lot of really small flies, then the hen cape is a good option. The hen saddle has small feathers as well, but not as many and not as small. So if you're tying a lot of small to large size flies, then the saddle is better. And of course, a good option for this, or an alternative to buying a complete cape or a complete saddle, is to buy a package of loose Metz hackles. But as I always say, it's a cheap alternative, but you will not get as much value for your money as if you buy a full cape. So a color like yellow, which is one I use very much, I strongly recommend that you buy a full cape or a saddle, and maybe, you know, some of the colors that you don't use that much, it's better to maybe buy the Metz option in those colors. So basically I'm going to turn the hackle here where the wing is. I'm going to fold everything back every time I turn, so it doesn't get tangled, and it's just basically a nice hackle. And then the last turn of the hackle, I'm gonna turn that all the way just behind the end of the TTT tube. There we go. I'm gonna cut off the hackle stem, and then I'm gonna use some jungle cock. And for this fly, jungle cock is very difficult to come by the feathers. So I'm gonna use the best alternative there is, which is the Pro HD jungle cocks. These are without a doubt the best substitute on the market. I've tried a lot of different stuff, but the Pro ones are without a doubt the ones that has the best markings, and also are the most durable, and really looks the best. And also they come in very many different sizes. This is the size 3x small. So and I use that quite a lot because a lot of my salmon flies are fairly small. And that's a good size for me, but you know, I also have, of course, the X small and the small and stuff like that. But you have a lot of option with the Pro jungle cock, and I like that a lot. Just make sure that these are even in length and placed correctly on the sides of the fly here, like this. Just gonna use one more turn of the tying thread, and then really apply some pressure to make sure that this stays in place. And again, here your sharp scissors really are worth every single cent of your money. Like that. Just a few more turns of the tying thread. I'm gonna make the whip finish, And of course, when you're done here, if I'd used a yellow thread, then my head would be yellow. But I don't think that this white color is a problem. A thing you could do, and I'm gonna show you that trick right now. I'm just gonna get a marker, a black marker, because if I want this to have a black head, then basically I just take my marker here and just very carefully make the white thread go black, like so, and then I can afterwards apply the varnish, and I have a very nice looking small black head on the fly here, like this. And well, basically all I need now is to remove the fly from the vise. Oh, the tubing fell out, that doesn't matter. Push the fitch tube back into the TNT cone, TTT cone. Cut it off. Shrink it back. Then apply some varnish, and then you have the finished fly. Yellow and dangerous. And yellow is, as I said, definitely one of the most dangerous colors out there. So small, fast, simple, and of course you can tie this type of fly in any color that you like. A red one would be very good as well, and even a black one with a silver disc would be pretty cool also. And black and red and so whatever colors that you like the most for flies of this type is very simple, and the thing about this is it will fish the instant it hits the water because of the tungsten TNT tube, and that makes this fly really deadly, and a really nice option for fishing even really fast water, because the TNT tube will get the fly down fast. So basically a good option for a nice small tube fly that's easy, fast, and really performs well in the water. So thank you for watching. As always, you can find the full material kit for this fly in my shop. It's called Nordic Anglers. There you can also find a ton of. We have more than 12,000 different fly tying products in stock, so you very welcome to swing by the shop and see if there is something that you need from the shop. We ship worldwide and would be more than happy to supply you with any fly tying materials or hardware. We have a lot of Scott and Sage and Waterworks and stuff like that also. But this is the fly, the yellow and dangerous. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to subscribe if you haven't done so already.